Overseas now, and an all-female crew, including Katy Perry, has successfully launched into outer space. The flight lasted about 10 minutes and took the crew more than 100 kilometres above Earth.
6 millionaire women, including Katy Perry, took on the mission of going into space on the Blue Origin New Shepard 31st mission.
1, 2, 3, take up space! Woo!
But people seem suspicious. Was the launch fake? And what about the strange logo that could be connected to evil?
A big part of your life, of course, is your daughter, Daisy. I want to know, does she kind of have a concept of what's happening, or like, what are your feelings around sharing this with her?
She's 4.5, so she's still trying to figure out what day of the week it is.
Sure.
But it is very normal, for us to talk about mommy going to space now.
Before the flight, Katy Perry sat down with a Blue Origin host for a quiet moment. The conversation wasn't rehearsed, at least it didn't feel that way. She spoke gently about her daughter, Daisy, who's just 4.5. She's still figuring out what day of the week it is. Katy smiled, but space, that had somehow become normal in their home. Mommy is going to space was now just part of the dinner table chatter.
I'll be so excited to hold her when I land.
Do you have a message for your family in this moment? It's okay. Yeah, no stress.
I'm going to be very emotional this weekend, of course.
Yeah, it's an emotional thing. It's a big journey.
It's huge. My message is that I love them.
Katy's voice trembled when she spoke about seeing Daisy again after the flight. "I'll be so excited to hold her," she said. Then came a long pause. Her eyes filled. "I'm going to be very emotional this weekend," she admitted. "It's huge. My message is that I love them so much." She was holding back tears, but not really hiding them. It was a raw, quiet kind of emotion.
Taking with you to space.
I'm taking bracelets that represents the pillars of my foundation that I started with my sister, called the Firework Foundation. I'm bringing almost 300 of them so that I can bring them back home for the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders that get to come to Camp Firework.
They're going to be so excited.
They're going to be very excited. It's really for those kids to inspire them as well.
She also revealed what she was bringing aboard NS-31, nearly 300 bracelets representing the pillars of her Firework Foundation. Started with her sister. These would be gifted to kids attending Camp Firework, 6th to 8th graders who look up to her.
I'm going to be bringing a daisy, a real-life daisy from the earth, to remind us that, the earth is very precious.
She also packed a real daisy, a simple flower from Earth, as a symbol of the planet's fragility. Then just before wrapping up, she dropped a surprise. She'd be launching her tour on April 23rd in Mexico and hinted at revealing her set list from space. She grinned, calling it a little nugget.
I'm also launching a tour on April 23rd in Mexico, and I'll be on tour for the rest of the year. And I think it would be pretty cool to reveal my set list for that tour in space.
Her final message to fans: "Thanks for being on this journey of a lifetime with me." She didn't shout it. She didn't dramatize it. She just let it sit there calmly. And while the moment felt sincere, it also fit perfectly into a global campaign built around dreams, symbols, and flawless delivery.
What's your message to your fans?
Thanks for being on this journey of a lifetime with me, and what a ride it already has been and will continue to be, obviously. Buckle up.
We will be taking you through the launch of New Shepard 31, Blue Origin's 11th human flight. And in just T-minus an hour and 6 minutes, our crew of 6 women, Aisha Bowe, Carrie Ann Flynn, Gayle King, Amanda Wynn, Katy Perry, and Lauren Sanchez.
When Blue Origin revealed the crew for NS-31, the announcement video played like a movie trailer. 6 women from different walks of life, standing shoulder to shoulder in flight suits. But questions started surfacing immediately. Why these 6? And more specifically, why Katy Perry? Among the crew, most had solid credentials. Aisha Bowe, a former NASA rocket scientist and entrepreneur. Amanda Nguyen, a bioastronautics research scientist and civil rights activist. Gayle King, an award-winning journalist. Carrie Ann Flynn, a film producer and philanthropist. And Lauren Sanchez, an Emmy award-winning journalist and pilot. These were high-achieving women, each representing a cause or field. But Katy, no one doubted her global fame or influence, but space travel, her background was performance and music, not science or exploration. Blue Origin said her presence was meant to inspire a new generation. She was a symbol of creativity reaching new heights. But still, for a mission so tightly framed around history and achievement, her inclusion felt more like a headline strategy. She wasn't just a passenger, she was the poster face of the mission. And with that came a strange feeling. Was this a mission or a campaign? There were doubts. Some called it a PR project, a spaceflight built more for screens than science, especially when you consider how smooth and polished every update was. Not a single out-of-place frame. Katy said she was honored, but something about how she was placed at the center, without a clear explanation, left more questions than answers.
You've passed. Does that make you feel confident? Yes. Does that make you feel good?
It makes it start to feel even more real.
The entire NS-31 mission lasted only 10 minutes and 21 seconds. That's all it took from liftoff to touchdown. But when you break it down, only around 4 of those minutes were spent in actual space above the Kármán line. The rest, it was the countdown, the ascent, and the return. Blue Origin called it a suborbital flight. The rocket lifted off from West Texas, soared upward, then detached the capsule. The capsule floated above the boundary of space and then began descending back to Earth under parachutes. During those 4 minutes in microgravity, the crew could unbuckle, float, and observe the Earth below.
1, 2, 3, take up space!
Katy described the moment as beyond anything she'd imagined. But what exactly did they do in those 10 minutes? The footage shows them cheering, floating, and pressing their faces against the windows. The sound inside was mostly laughter and gasps. But there's something strange here too. No wide shots of the capsule from outside. No footage of the capsule gently re-entering Earth's atmosphere. Every frame was from within the capsule. That's not standard. Most space flights, from NASA to SpaceX, have exterior views, live feeds, or distant camera drones. This one, it was like watching a promo. If this truly was a milestone moment, why limit the perspective? Why was everything filtered through internal lenses? And when you're that careful, it makes people start to wonder what really happened in those 10 minutes.
Flynn, I gotcha. I gotcha, Flynn.
Gotcha. Proud of you.
On the New Shepard. I think I'm gonna sing. I'm gonna sing a little bit. I gotta sing in space.
When the capsule reached the edge of space, Katy Perry did something unexpected. She pulled out a single daisy flower. It wasn't mentioned in the official checklist, nor was it part of any scientific experiment. It was just a small white daisy, soft, fragile, oddly out of place in a gravity-free zone.
Holding up that daisy, I know you got to tell me outside the capsule how important that was, not only because it's your daughter's name, but everything that it encompasses for you, and I would love for you to share it with the audience.
I don't know if I can cry anymore. Sometimes people consider daisies weeds because they grow everywhere and through everything, and they show up in so many different places, but daisies are just so resilient. I brought a daisy because I have so much love for my daughter Daisy, and I have so much love for Mother Earth.
She said it was a symbol for her daughter, Daisy, that even in a place so far from home, she wanted something that reminded her of her child. Then a butterfly appeared in frame. Katy was holding it with her fingers and showed it in the camera. That moment was turned into a slow motion clip later, played across social media. Blue Origin said it was a 3D printed object meant to represent transformation. But it didn't quite move like plastic, and Katy never explained it in her post-flight comments. That 15-second clip, it became one of the most replayed visuals of the flight. And again, no external shot. Everything inside, everything controlled. It felt beautiful, but also a bit too polished for something so spontaneous.
Was when we got back in our seats after 0 G's, Katy sang "What a Wonderful World."
She did?
Isn't that nice?
Oh, come on.
She sang "What a Wonderful World." I see dreams. Oh, yes.
Oh.
Because we'd been asking her to sing all the time, and she wouldn't. And then, because everybody said, "Sing Roar, sing Fireworks," and she said, "It's not about me. I wanted to talk about the world."
1, 2, 3, take up space!
If you watch the NS-31 flight clips carefully, something felt off. Every camera angle, from liftoff to touchdown, was from the inside. Not a single wide shot of the rocket from a drone or nearby chase helicopter. No distant view of the capsule floating back through the atmosphere. Just tight interior frames and some animation-style exterior renders. That's unusual. Even older suborbital tests included outside views. SpaceX, Virgin Galactic, and even NASA's test flights had real exterior exterior footage. You could watch the flames, the arc, the re-entry, but with NS-31, it felt like a closed box, as if the audience was only allowed to see what the mission handlers wanted to show. And here's the thing, Blue Origin does have cameras on the booster and ground sites, so where were those visuals? Why didn't they release even a single shot of the capsule landing from the outside? This is where the questions started growing. People online began comparing the visuals to virtual sets, saying the lighting looked uniform. That reflection didn't behave naturally. Some even pointed out how Katy's hair floated in a way that looked similar to zero-G simulations used in music videos. Could it be coincidental? Maybe. Could it be deliberate? Also maybe. But the total lack of raw, unedited outside footage raised eyebrows, especially for a mission that was supposed to be groundbreaking. When everything feels too contained, too perfect, people start to dig, and in this case, they found very little real-world grounding, just clips from the inside. Smooth, polished, emotional, but strangely distant from the real world. Blue Origin showed the landing from a close angle when the NS-31 capsule touched down in the Texas desert. The crew looked thrilled. Katy stepped out, crouched, kissed the ground, and looked upward with a proud smile.
Katy!
It felt real, heartfelt, but here's the detail that started the buzz. No dust. A capsule landing on sandy terrain, even with parachutes to slow it down, should stir up a cloud of dirt. It's basic physics. The impact, even when softened, kicks up sand. That's been the case in nearly every previous Blue Origin landing, but in Katy's moment, the air around her was perfectly still. Some viewers went back to earlier footage from other missions and compared side by side. NS-30, NS-20, all had visible dust clouds during touchdown, but NS-31's landing seemed cleaner, almost like it had been placed gently for the shot. Even Katy's walk from the capsule seemed more like a performance than a post-flight moment.
We have to go there, okay.
Her suit looked untouched. Her hair was in place. Not a trace of dirt on her knees after kneeling on open ground. Of course, some of it could be due to conditions. Maybe the soil was packed or the wind was absent. But when every visual leading up to it felt curated, the clean landing only added to the doubts. And this moment, which should have grounded the story, ironically made it feel less grounded.
Katy!
Online forums, video breakdowns, and social media started picking apart the NS-31 flight almost instantly, but it wasn't just theories. People pointed to visuals, timings, and even frame-by-frame glitches. The most circulated clip? A slowed down moment where Katy turns to look out the window, and in the reflection, something flickers. It didn't match the landscape. One user showed that the terrain outside didn't shift as the capsule supposedly rotated. Another claimed the capsule interior had lighting setups more typical of a studio stage, with consistent soft light and no shadows. More oddly, some Reddit users found inconsistencies between the live stream timestamp and NASA's public space tracking logs. According to those logs, no suborbital object was recorded matching NS-31's signature at the listed time. That led to one of the more wild conclusions, that the entire event could have been recorded earlier, then broadcast as a live event. There was no flight data publicly available, no rocket trajectory shared, and the FAA flight registry had a different timestamp from what was shown in media. Blue Origin didn't comment on the discrepancies. Instead, they released highlight clips, crew interviews, and social media content celebrating the mission. It became more about the symbolism than the science.
Katy.
Of the group.
No, you're not the crier of the group.
Feeler of the group.
No, you are not.
I'm crier.
I'm going to tell you something right now. You are officially an astronaut.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel?
I feel super connected to love.
Katy Perry stood in the spotlight once again, but this time, the stage was space. Just moments after her Blue Origin capsule landed, Katy was officially called an astronaut. Her eyes welled up, not just from the weightlessness she'd felt up there, but from something much deeper, connection. I feel so connected to love, she said. You never realize how much love you have to give, or how loved you are until something like this.
I think this experience has shown me you never know how much love is inside of you, like how much love you have to give, and how loved you are until the day you launch.
Before liftoff, she tucked a small daisy into her suit, not just a nod to her daughter, but a symbol of resilience. They grow through anything: cement, cracks, walls. That's the kind of strength I wanted to carry with me. Katy sang "What a Wonderful World" up there, not to perform, but to represent a shared energy, a reminder that this wasn't about her. It was about all of us.
Important for you, not only because it's your daughter's name, but why else was that important to bring it?
Daisies are common flowers, but they grow through any condition. They go through cement, they go through cracks, they go through walls. They are resilient.
About making space feel more human and hopeful, about creating room for fearless women, and about sending love right back to Earth.
It's not about me. It's not about singing my songs. It's about a collective energy in there. It's about us. It's about making space for future women and taking up space and belonging. And it's about this wonderful world that we see right out there and appreciating it.
When asked how the trip compared to her other milestones, she didn't flinch. It's right after becoming a mom. That's number one. And in that moment, you could tell this wasn't about stardom or achievement. It was about surrender, trust, faith in the unknown.
So many incredible things in your life, selling millions of records, selling out stadiums. Where does this experience rate for you?
This experience is second to being a mom. Yeah, that's it.
From Feathers, what her mom calls her, to the capsule named Tortoise, every sign told her she was ready. She listened, she flew, and she returned with a glowing smile and a heart full of stories.
Well, here's the feather, which is what your mother calls you. And if that's not enough, the capsule's named Tortoise, which is your second nickname that your mother calls you. And I'm like, okay, I'm going. Yeah. I got the message and I'm going to get the message.
Oh, I'll definitely write a song about this. She laughed. I even revealed my tour set list on a butterfly in space.
Question for your fans. Will you write a song about this experience?
Oh, for sure. 100%. And not only that, I got to reveal my set list for the tour on a butterfly. How apropos.
Incredible.
Just flying in space.
As she waved to the team, her review was simple. 10 out of 10. Go for it.
It's a 10 out of 10. That's my review.
10 out of 10.
You definitely go for it. 10 out of 10.
Thank you, Katy.
Hear that screaming inside the capsule?
There's something deeply human about how they reacted, not with scientific jargon or rehearsed speeches, but with raw personal reflections. Lauren's overwhelmed joy, Amanda's emotional healing, Carrie Ann's moment of quiet awe, and Gail's triumph over fear. It all feels like a collective emotional release. Each woman had a personal reason for going, and their return brought a sense of closure, pride, and deep reflection. Lauren talking about how Gail didn't even have her ears pierced because she's that afraid of discomfort.
I don't really have words for it.
Oh my God, Lauren, I want to cry just seeing you.
I'm so proud of this crew.
Oh.
Like, I mean, Gail, you know, we were just talking in the capsule, doesn't even have ear piercings. She's so afraid to do anything. And she got in that capsule, and I think it profoundly changed her. I mean, for me, I can't put it into words, but like I looked out the window and we got to see the moon.
But still stepped into a rocket. That's not just bravery, that's transformation. And Amanda holding onto a hospital band to honor someone close, floating it in zero gravity.
What is this right here?
Yes, and this one I didn't know if I would bring, but I ended up bringing it and floating it, and it's the hospital band from the day.
That hit hard. Then Carrie Ann breaking down, not out of sadness, but from the weight of it all. Seeing Earth like that, realizing her son's friends said moms don't go to space.
I'm so sorry.
No, don't apologize. Are you kidding? You just went to space. You just went to space. This is it.
Knowing that everyone I loved was standing down there looking back up at me.
Yes.
And I just hope that these types of experiences, clear a path for everyone to be able to do that.
You told us a beautiful story about your son when you told him you were going to go to space, and that, get over here so I can hold you, and that he went back to school and he was all excited to tell his friends that his mom was going to space.
And proving them wrong. That's a story that says more than a whole speech ever could. Gail saying this wasn't just a ride, it was a real profound flight.
I can't even believe what I saw. When somebody calls this a ride, this was not a ride. What happened to us was not a ride. fide. This was a bona fide friggin' flight.
And then calling herself her instructor's biggest success because of how scared she was. It reminds you that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's showing up anyway. These weren't just women going to space. This felt like they were carrying stories, grief, love, hope, and dreams into orbit. And then bringing it all back to Earth changed.
Eleanor Roosevelt once said, courage is doing something that scares you, but you do it anyway. And I stepped out of my comfort zone in a way that I never thought was possible for me. And now that I've done it, I really do feel I can take on anything. Anything.
Congratulations, Gail King. You are an astronaut.
Thank you, Chris.
I am so excited for you.
In a press conference, all the crew members were sitting where Lauren talked about how seeing the Earth from space makes you realize how small and precious it really is. Her moment of reflection was quiet, personal, and deeply moving, especially when she mentioned seeing the Earth breathing and being alive.
It was in complete and utter darkness. And then you look back at Earth and it's like this beautiful, it was quiet, it felt like it was breathing, it was so alive. And that's kind of what I felt, just this aliveness of Earth.
That subtle comparison gave the planet a human-like presence. The moment where Lauren honors her teacher, Lori, who helped her during her community college days, adds an intimate layer to the story. It's not just about space, it's about people, growth, and gratitude. That feather that flew for Lori becomes a powerful symbol. Then Gail's nervousness, her honesty, and that quirky sex with the gods line brought levity and realness. Her journey from fear to empowerment gives this moment a lot of depth, ending with her feeling like she can do anything.
I didn't think that, but I did think that what all the stuff that you hear about the blackness and the blue is it's a neon blue, and it's still and it's quiet, and we were all feeling this experience together. I know I will never forget it. So for me, it just says to me, if I can do this, I was telling these guys, I might even now get my ears pierced. I've never gotten my ears pierced because that hurts. But I feel I walked out of there thinking, gosh, I can do anything. I can do anything.
Even get her ears pierced. After that, Carrie Ann describes the trip as being inside an intimate film, both living it and storytelling at once. That's such a unique way of describing the experience and fits beautifully for someone who sees life through a filmmaker's lens. In the last, Amanda touches on how meaningful it was to run her science experiments in microgravity. The joy of being part of something bigger, of adding to scientific understanding, was the highlight of her journey, but there were no visuals or data on what they all said.
I own that. Was when I found out that we could operate the science inside the capsule. To do that and operate it while we had our moment in microgravity was such a phenomenal dream for me.
Instead, the mission ended with all 6 women smiling in front of the capsule, waving, with background music playing. And for something that was called a scientific leap, it left behind very few measurable steps. No experiments shown, no anomalies studied, just symbols, smiles, and a story that, for some, still doesn't quite add up. Now, as all the facts and figures are here, I am leaving this up to you guys to decide whether it was a real space flight or a publicity stunt. Do share your thoughts in the comments below in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching the video. Share in the comments and do like the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again,